Hello again and welcome to 10 Things About Writing. Now at this point, if you've followed all of this series, you might have reached a stage where you start questioning the joy of what you're doing. You might have started thinking, you know what, I was supposed to get joy when I was doing this writing, and actually it's turned out to be a lot of hard work. Why isn't it more fun? Well, you have reached a kind of exercise plateau in that case, if this is how you feel. You have done everything you were supposed to. You've set up your space, you've put aside your time, you've put work in. You may even have made an effort to contact agents or editors, and you will have realised that actually the joy is not always a constant. It never is when you're acquiring a skill set, even if you are very skilled within that skill set. As soon as you reach a certain level of proficiency, you will find that some of it starts not to be quite so fun as actually to be hard work, and this is absolutely normal. I would expect you to be writing primarily because you love writing, but you may also be writing for other reasons. And it's important to understand that however good you get at something, however much you love it, no skill that you're acquiring, no occupation can possibly be 100% joy. So if you are feeling 100% joy, you've probably just not got to the plateau yet. So why is it not more fun? Now, you may have found that you've reached a moment of self-doubt, doubting your ability and your worth. You may have had rejection. Those are setbacks. Those are not a unique loss of joy. But expect setbacks and expect to have to deal with them. Also expect to have to deal with moments in your work in progress, which may well be a novel, where you're running out of ideas, you're running out of steam, you start to doubt what you're doing, you start thinking, actually, this book, it started off so well, it's now disappearing up its own arse and I don't know how to stop it. All these things are absolutely normal. They don't denote a loss of ability or a loss of joy. They are natural stages in the process. So I haven't misled you, at least not deliberately, by saying that you should write for joy, but joy is not a constant. I would hope you would feel joy at having accomplished something, at having got better at what you do, but sometimes the actual writing is a lot of hard work. And I know I keep making exercise analogies, but it is a good one. Remember that when you exercise, when you want to train for a marathon, when you want to get fitter, the joy that you feel is of achievement, of having done the thing. You don't always feel joy when you're sweating your way up a hill in 40 degrees and you're thinking, hang on, why did I do this? You feel it at the end where you've run your 10K or your half marathon and you realise that you didn't think you could do it. You have done it. That is the moment of achievement. So yes, don't expect to feel happy about everything. Don't expect joy to be a constant. However, if you do start feeling that you've been slogging away at this for weeks and months and you're really not feeling it, then there are a few ways to approach this. And maybe if you try to identify why you're not feeling it, you will feel it better as you progress. So first of all, work out what it is that you're not feeling. Are you not feeling a sense of achievement, of progress? If that's the case, look back at what you were writing 3 years ago. Take a proper good hard look at it. And then when you see your achievement, you will have realised that you have actually made a fair bit of progress. You have gone a fair way up the hill. You may not even have realised it. On the other hand, if you only started this 6 weeks ago, that's not a test that you can give yourself. However, do tell yourself that even if you don't see your progress, a little like weight loss, a little like fitness, other people will see it eventually. It is there. Just because you don't necessarily feel it absolutely doesn't mean that it's not there, and it will have an effect on all sorts of areas of your life. And writing is not just for the end product or for being published or for being taken on by an agent. It is all kinds of things. It has knock-on benefits. It will benefit your interactions, your articulacy, your ability to sit down and write an email or a letter. It will change the way you see the world. It will make you more curious, more analytical. It will give you a higher degree of empathy when you're dealing with other people. So all of these other things, these extra benefits to your taking up writing, those things are real. You will eventually feel them. Other people will notice them. If it's not that, if your reason for not feeling it is something, it might be something to do with time. You may be stressed about time. If so, look back at your time management and ask yourself, am I asking too much of myself? Am I trying to do too much? Is this why I am unhappy and disappointed? If so, go back to basics. Remember, little and often is much better than trying to set yourself impossible tasks which will make you disappointed and upset with yourself for no reason, because nobody but you is setting these targets. Identifiable, achievable targets is the key here. So if you only have time for half an hour a day or 15 minutes a day, do that. Do that as a ground minimum. And then if you can get more done, all the better. But you will at least have your 15 minutes, your 30 minutes under your belt for that day, and you will feel good about yourself. Remember, this is an exercise for the brain. In the same way as exercise for the body, little and often is much better than giving yourself a rupture once every 3 months. It could be that your unease comes from something completely different. It could be that you have started to question your commitment to your work in progress. It could be that you have started to have a roving eye and to look at something new and to think, maybe this project would be more fun to do. Remember what I said about commitment before. There is a pain threshold after which you will find writing, particularly if you're writing a novel, something more difficult than you did when you were starting off. And that's because building the higher stories of your house is much, much harder than just laying out the foundations. That's a pain barrier that you will need to push through. It's exactly like panting your way up the hill. Like I was saying before, once you get to the top, you will realize that it was worth doing. So if that's what it is, if it's a failure of commitment or a doubt of commitment, remember that you have to push through the pain barrier. You will get there. You will feel better afterwards. You will feel that sense of achievement. You will get your joy back. If your joylessness is actually something to do with what you are writing, if you've fallen out of love with your project, then maybe give yourself a bit of time apart. Take the decision. Okay, I'm going to take 3 months, 6 months off this and do something else. Give yourself permission to do that. Don't give yourself permission to flip from one thing to another whenever it gets hard, but say, all right, this project and I have commitment issues. I'm going to take time apart from it. Then I'm going to come back with it with an objective view and see if it's worth carrying on with. Because sometimes projects just die. It's a tough thing to acknowledge, but sometimes you realize that actually your progress has gone further than the project you're working on. It is not worth continuing with it because the next thing you're going to do is actually going to be better. But you need objectivity for this. At the moment, in the middle of a project, you've probably not got the objectivity that you need. So give yourself time and permission to step away, do something else. What you might need is a little bit of a break. Sometimes, particularly with a big project, you need to step away from it to work on a little project, write a short story, work on some fan fiction, do something that will just give you a brain break from your big project so that when you step back towards it, you will feel more objective, you will feel better, you'll feel more able to tackle that hill. And remember, joy is not something that you will get all the time. You won't be able to plug into your work in progress and fall through the hole in the screen and enter another world every single time and feel a sense of achievement. So don't expect to day by day. Week by week, maybe yes. Month by month, maybe yes. But remember that writing, for some people at least, is a job. It's a job that requires experience, time, expertise. And we are working on it all the time. So although you may have chosen to dip in and out of this as a hobbyist, as an amateur writer, and I say this with the greatest of admiration for people who do this and hold down another job at the same time, but remember, you are competing with people who do this full time. And as such, you may not have yet put in the hours to have achieved quite the same level of expertise that they have. So remember, you need to keep working at this. And what you achieve, you need to measure and to acknowledge. Remember, everybody feels self-doubt. Even professionals who have been doing this for 20, 30 years, everybody feels self-doubt. Everybody has days when the dream machine just doesn't work. And that doesn't mean it's broken. It just means that that is your brain's way of saying, you know what, maybe you could just step away from this for a while. Do something else. Do something simpler that makes you happy. And whatever that is, that's up to you. Cook a meal for somebody. Go for a nice walk. Do something that allows you to just relax. Because writing, it may be enjoyable, it may be enormously enriching in all sorts of ways, but it is also bloody hard work. And your brain gets tired, and there's nothing wrong with that, and there's nothing unusual about that. Everybody's brain gets tired from time to time. Sometimes your brain just tells you that you need to give up the intellectual effort and do something else. Do something physical, do something for your own self-care, do something that takes you out into nature. That's very healing, very helpful. Do something that blows the cobwebs out of your brain, and then maybe next time, when you step back up to your computer, your laptop, with no great sense of expectation, then you will find your joy again. If you love writing, the love of writing isn't lost. But sometimes you can overdo it, and it's important to understand that you are not a machine. You need to look after yourself. You need to find a rhythm to this that fits your life so that it becomes such an entrenched habit that it's not something that you can do without, and yet it's not something that saps all of your energy, because you will need your energy to write, to create, to do something that gives you joy and gives your readers joy as well. So remember, always be kind to yourself. Remember to understand your mind's needs, your body's needs. And that way you are not likely, if you do have episodes of self-doubt and joylessness and feeling that it's all a bit too much, those things will not last. You will break through those pain barriers. You will get back to an easier plateau of work, and you will continue. You will persist. You will persevere. Till next time, enjoy your writing. I'll see you soon.